Welcome to Gooner's Report, your trusted source for Arsenal updates, analysis and fan reactions. Subscribe now and join the Gunners community. Arsenal forever. Arsenal have 3 weeks remaining to shape their January transfer business, with Mikel Arteta continuing to weigh up whether additions are needed to maintain the club's momentum across domestic and European competitions. The Gunners' on-field form remains impressive. A convincing 4-1 victory over Portsmouth in the FA Cup third round on Sunday booked their place in round 4, while their Premier League campaign continues to gather pace. Arsenal currently sit 6 points clear at the top of the table and now turn their attention to Chelsea, whom they face in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final later this week. Despite their strong position, Arsenal are expected to remain active in the market until the deadline on the 2nd of February, with several defensive options being monitored as the club looks to plan not only for the second half of the season, but also beyond. Crystal Palace defender Marc Guéhi remains one of the most closely watched names. The England international has been linked with a move away from Selhurst Park for much of the season, having narrowly missed out on a £35 million switch to Liverpool on deadline day in September. According to reports, Arsenal and Liverpool are both viewed as preferred destinations by Guéhi, though any move is more likely to take place in the summer when his contract expires. Speaking on the Let Me Talk podcast, the Athletic reporter Sam Lee suggested the defender is content to see out the season at Palace. "I was told he wants to stay until the summer," Lee said, "and he prefers Liverpool and Arsenal." Guéhi, 25, has made 20 Premier League appearances this season and is expected to be part of Thomas Tuchel's England squad for the World Cup this summer. Arsenal's interest is understood to be part of longer-term planning rather than an immediate January push. Arsenal are also reported to be tracking Rennes defender Jeremy Jacquet, with competition emerging from Liverpool and Chelsea. The 20-year-old has been on Chelsea's radar for several months, but Football Insider now claim both Arsenal and Liverpool have registered an interest. Jacquet is viewed as a high-upside defensive prospect rather than a ready-made starter, fitting Arsenal's recent recruitment profile of targeting young players capable of developing within Arteta's system. With Arsenal currently well stocked at centre-back, any move this month would likely depend on market opportunities rather than urgent necessity. While Arsenal are under no pressure to rush into deals, the club remain alert to opportunities that could strengthen depth for the title run-in and help manage workloads during a demanding second half of the season. Arteta has previously stressed the importance of maintaining squad harmony, and any January business is expected to be measured rather than reactive. With silverware already in sight and a commanding league position, Arsenal's approach appears focused on sustainability rather than short-term fixes. The coming weeks will determine whether the Gunners opt to reinforce now or wait until the summer to make more decisive moves. Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the media ahead of Arsenal's massive Premier League clash with Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium, and there were plenty of key talking points as the title race heats up. Let's break down everything Arteta said, including injury updates, Liverpool, and comments on Ruben Amorim. Mikel Arteta faced the media at the Sober Realty Training Centre ahead of Thursday night's showdown with Liverpool. Arsenal head into the game 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League after back-to-back wins over Aston Villa and Bournemouth, while Manchester City dropped more points in recent weeks. Arteta knows this is another huge opportunity to make a statement in the title race, especially with Liverpool visiting North London. The Gunners were beaten at Anfield earlier in the season, so there is added motivation to set things right this time around. Despite Liverpool being out of the title race, Arteta made it clear that Arsenal will not underestimate them, knowing they are still pushing hard for Champions League qualification. One of the biggest talking points from the press conference was Arsenal's injury situation. The good news for Arsenal fans is that overall, the squad situation is improving. Kai Havertz is fighting to be included in the squad after returning to training, while Arteta also provided updates on Riccardo Calafiori and Christian Mosquera. Calafiori will miss the Liverpool game as he continues to recover from the knock he picked up against Aston Villa. Mosquera is also ruled out, with the centre-back still recovering from an ankle injury that turned out to be more serious than first expected. His return is likely to be in mid-January. Youngster Max Dowman remains sidelined as well, after suffering an Achilles injury in December. He is expected to be out for at least another month. Despite these absences, Arteta hinted that Arsenal's injury list is finally easing, meaning he may soon have to make tough decisions about leaving players out of the squad entirely. Arteta was also asked about the recent sacking of Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. The Arsenal manager expressed sympathy for his fellow coach, admitting it is always sad to see a colleague lose their job. Arteta explained that football management is ruthless, and that results ultimately decide everything. He highlighted how important support from players and staff is, but also admitted that winning games is the only real way to survive at the top level. The comments came amid comparisons between Arteta's early struggles at Arsenal and Amorim's time at United. Rio Ferdinand's comments about Arteta also became a topic of discussion. Ferdinand recently claimed that Arteta would consider taking the Manchester United job if it was offered to him, a statement that quickly went viral. This is not the first time Ferdinand has made such claims, having suggested last year that Arteta could leave Arsenal for United. However, Arteta's focus remains firmly on Arsenal and delivering long-awaited silverware at the Emirates, with no indication that he is considering a move anywhere else. Arsenal could receive a boost ahead of Thursday night, with reports suggesting one of Liverpool's key players may miss the game through injury. Liverpool arrive at the Emirates having won 4 of their last 6 matches under Arne Slot, and will provide a serious test. Arteta knows Liverpool are one of only 2 teams to beat Arsenal this season, alongside Aston Villa, which adds extra edge to the contest. Arsenal's dominance in the Premier League continues, and right now the Gunners are sitting 6 points clear of both Manchester City and Aston Villa. That lead was extended after a dramatic 3-2 victory away at Bournemouth. It was not an easy game, but it was a champion's performance. Arsenal showed fight, belief and composure when it mattered most. Manchester City then dropped points again, which means with 18 games still to play, Arsenal are firmly in control of the title race. This is a huge moment in the season. The pressure is now on everyone else to catch Arsenal, not the other way around. Despite Arsenal's strong position, Mikel Arteta has not ruled out entering the January transfer window. The manager has been boosted by the return of key players like Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Magalhaes and Kai Havertz, giving Arsenal more depth and options across the pitch. However, Arteta has made it very clear that if there is a chance to improve the squad, Arsenal will be ready. Speaking in December, Arteta said the club must always be prepared because opportunities can appear at any moment. He explained that Arsenal are actively looking, even if a deal does not always happen. This shows that Arsenal are calm but alert. There is no panic, but there is planning. One of the biggest stories from the Bournemouth win was Declan Rice. The England midfielder returned to the starting lineup after missing the win over Aston Villa, and he made an immediate impact. Rice scored 2 goals and completely controlled the game in midfield. His energy, leadership and presence were the difference. After the match, Arteta was asked whether Rice should be considered among the best players in the world in his position. Arteta did not hesitate. He said that for him, Declan Rice is already one of the very best. He praised Rice for constantly adding new elements to his game, improving his role and pushing himself every single week. Arteta also said that Rice still has room to improve, which should excite Arsenal fans even more. With reports linking Rice to Real Madrid, Arsenal see him as untouchable. He is the heartbeat of this team. Now let's talk about transfers. Real Madrid. Winger Rodrigo is once again being linked with a move to Arsenal. The Brazilian stayed at Madrid last summer, but this season he has been reduced to a limited role. He has started only a handful of league games and has scored just 2 goals in all competitions. With Arsenal top of the Premier League and Arteta open to new arrivals, the links have grown stronger. Premier League legend Alan Shearer has already given his verdict on Rodrigo. He believes the winger would thrive in England and said there would be no shortage of Premier League clubs interested if Rodrigo decided to leave Madrid. For Arsenal fans, this would be a statement signing. Rodrigo brings pace, intelligence, versatility, and big match experience. However, a January deal would be extremely difficult, and this looks more like a summer possibility if anything develops. Despite all the rumours, Arsenal are not desperate. The club invested heavily in the summer and built a squad with real depth in every position. Because of that, any January signings would likely be either short-term cover or players for the future rather than instant starters. There is also a strong chance Arsenal sign no one at all and trust the current group to finish the job. Still, Arsenal do have names on their list. One of those names is Elche wonderkid Rodrigo Mendoza. Arsenal have been monitoring the young midfielder since November, and some have already labelled him the next Pedri. Mendoza would not be a first-team starter immediately, but he would add depth and long-term quality behind players like Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. A reported release clause of around £17.5 million could tempt Arsenal to move quickly, but competition from other clubs is expected. Another player Arsenal are watching is Rennes defender Jeremy Jacquet. The French youth international has been compared to William Saliba, and Arsenal see him as a similar development project. With injuries affecting Saliba and Gabriel this season, another young defender could make sense. However, Jacquet signed a new contract recently, meaning any deal would be expensive. AC Milan defender Davide Bartesaghi is also on Arsenal's radar. Milan want to secure his future, but Arsenal are monitoring the situation closely. Although Arsenal already have several left-back options, Bartesaghi's profile fits Arteta's system, and comparisons to Calafiori make him an interesting option. Arsenal's next 5 league games are massive. Liverpool at home, Nottingham Forest away, Manchester United at home, Leeds United away, Sunderland at home. The next match against Liverpool at the Emirates is a statement opportunity. Given the form of both teams, Arsenal will go in as favourites. If Arsenal come through this run strongly, the title picture could become even clearer.